Hi friends, welcome to Tutors Funny channel. Today I am going to teach how to generate the random number using Spring Boot application registration form. Right. Now first I am going to configure the project. So I am going to configure the project. So go to the Spring Initializer. Go click on this. The links goes to the respective website for configure the project. So select Maven along with Java. Default package it will be selected. It's perfect. Now here you have to do it here random random, right? So I just use a random. Okay, it select as Java 17 dependency. I'm going to select as JPA. Second dependency I'm going to select as web. Third dependency I'm going to select as MySQL. Right, that's it. Enough, right? Now after that click generate. Make sure all the things are correct, right? Okay, double check that. Click generate. Now you are right. It will be generated. So here it will become open up. This is a project random number, right? Cut this one and put into this one as my F drive. Here I'm going to right click extract file. You have to extract it, right? My project is ready here. I'm going to open on the BS IntelliJ IDEA. So go to the open. Go to select the location where my project is downloaded. Go to the F drive. F drive random. You select a random here. Select the random. Click on here. Click OK. Okay, so here I'm going to open trust project. New window. I'm going to open in this one. Right, we have to wait until the project get configured. Right, now here what I'm going to do is here I'm going to select src main java. Here this is the main package, right? Now here I'm going to create another package java.com.random. I'm going to create another package which is a controller. After that we have to create another package a DTO. After that we have to create another package a entity. Or a repo. Right. After that we have a service. You have to create this packages, right? Then you have to create the following packages. Now first I'm going to handle with the entities. So I'm going to create the new class which is an entity, which is a entity I'm going to create as student. What I'm you can create, I'm going to create as entity students. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my, I will explain, don't worry, because if I write it take too much of time, I'm going to explain it. So here you have to write it here, this one you have to write first student as, I'm going to this one, I'm going to remove it. Now you can understand, right? Now first you have to declaring this variable private int student id. After that you have to type private string. This is click on this one, you have to solve the error. This is not the error, you have to add this model, right? Private string student name, private student address, private int student phone number, and boolean active, right? These are the we have the properties. We have to create these variables, right? This we have to create it. Okay, these are the variables you have to create. Okay, student variable. Okay, student id, student name, address, and mobile and active. At this time student id is not auto increment. We have to generate as a random number generator. Okay, so what I'm going to do is here I'm going to first you have to import this one as this id for unique id, unique primary key, generate the primary key column. We have to create the database column as a student id. Length I have gave here as 50. That's the thing you have to write. Okay, now you have a clear understand, right? So second one I'm going to get this one as a student name. The student name, you have to clear this one. This is our entity type. This is a database column. We have created this name in my databases, right? Student name. Out of the same column I'm going to create here the address. Out of the same thing just copy and paste it. Phone, mobile. After that what I'm going to do is I'm going to get another thing is active and this one tiny. You have to create this one activated definition default one, right? These are the column you have to create the entity type, right? It's a column. Student has a id, student name, address, mobile and active state. Student has, these are the properties there. Okay, student has. Now we have to generate the get and set method as well. So we have to right click, generate constructor, all argument constructors, hold on shift key down, select all. After that you have to create the constructor as a non-parameter constructor. After that you have to get and set method. Right click, generate get and set method. Hold on shift key down and select as get and set method. After that you write the string, return string method, right? That's it. That's the thing you have to write. Here you have to implement this as entity. So it's an entity type. After that you have to specify the table. The table name equal student, right? Now after that this is the students table, right? After that you have to go to the resources application property. Here you have to specify the database configuration part, right? So I am going to configure this one, right? So student application, I'm going to run the code as I'm going to generate as 65. First time I'm going to create the database. This is a MySQL database driver. I'm going to create a database here as grp. This is a database I'm going to create. This is while installing my MySQL app workbench, MySQL workbench. This is my MySQL workbench. In order to configure the database, while installing, I have gave root as a username, password as 123. Right. This is the JPA configuration of Spring Boot application. This is the basic configuration part I have configured. This is the basic configuration part I have configured so far. Right. Now what I'm going to do is I have created the database which name is grp. I have a table schema I have created as student, right? These are the table type I have created, right? Now I'm going to go to I have forgot to create the another dependency. I have to insert Lombok Maven. In order to Lombok Maven, right? Click on this Lombok Maven. You have to get that one as I'm going to get this one, right? This package I just copied. Go to my form.xml and paste inside the dependencies. Sorry, not here, this one. Form.xml, I paste it here. If I paste the dependency, you can click on this. But then only the package get installed. Right now installed successfully. Now I'm back to. Now I'm going to create a DTO. I'm going to create a DTO, right? If I install the Lombok dependency, what is the meaning? We have downloaded and install them, because in order to generate the get and set method and constructor, we no need to implement that. Okay, so again, what's these things? right? So that if you are imported like this, so I'm going to go to DTO class, which is a here right directory student save DTO, this class we need only these three things, these four things. Okay, ID is not auto increment. Okay, so we have a ID, right? Student name, these all things we don't need them. Just a depend, just we have a variable name only we need, right? So the column name we don't need to specify over here. This is a DTO where data is coming from DTO. Okay, so here what I'm going to do is we don't need to generate a get and set method. Instead of that, we already installed that dependency, which is a Lombok. So that dependency has all arch constructor. The dependency consists of no arch constructor. That dependency consists of data. Okay, these are the three things that dependency consists. So we no need to implement the get and set method, right? Okay, this is the purpose we have to generate the Lombok dependency installed in the Spring Boot application, right? Now I have done entity as well as a DTO. Now I'm going to move into the controller part. So I'm going to create the controller. So take the controller package, right click, new. Here write student controller. Right. Student controller. What I'm going to first we have to add the annotation first. So what is the annotation we have to add it? So we have to go here. These are the three annotations. Okay. So first annotation I'm going to implement it as REST controller implementation, because this is a RESTful request. We are dealing with the RESTful request. So we have to implement the controller which is a REST controller first. After that, there is a cross origin. What's the meaning of cross origin mean? If you are connect with the front end and back end, right? So the security purpose we have a cross origin. We have to implement the cross origin. Okay, if you are not implement the cross origin, we can't we can't access the front end data. So we have to do it this one. This is a request mapping. What is the request user and type? This is the port where we put our URL. Okay, after the port, this is the URL link we have provided here. When the user comment type slash API version, we mean it's nothing but version 1, right? So here student. Okay, this is the professional way to write the request, implement the request in Spring Boot application. Now here I'm going to save the record. So we have to go with the post mapping, right? Post mapping. So we have to go with the post mapping. So post mapping. So we have to write this one, post mapping. Okay, so we have to write. Okay, so here you can see here post mapping. You have to implement the annotation post mapping path save. After that, you have to write the public string save method request. Okay, here we shouldn't save DTO means save DTO, right? So why we are implement the save DTO mean when the request is coming via the DTO. Okay, when the request is coming via the DTO, right? Okay, so this is how your data is coming. So this data we are passing to here, right? So we have to this data we are sending to the control to service. Service the part where we have to function the data. We have to add the data. We have to function it in a service. Service send the request to repo. Repo, we have to add the data via entity. After that, we have to add the data, and after that, it will get the response to controller. So here, this is the control. This is the service. We have created student service. So we have to whatever. We haven't created the service yet. So let's create the service. Then you have to easily understand. So this one should be the first. You have to create the interface. Student service. This is interface type. After that, create one package. Implementation IMPL is a implementation package. This is the student this is a class student IMPL. The student service IMPL. You can write student A, right click student service IMPL. The right as student service IMPL. Right. Now here first what I'm going to do is we have to get this one. The student service. So we have to whatever add here this one. Right. So we have to write whatever add. You write here private student service okay, student service. That's it, it's coming here. In student service we have to create the method as add student. You click on this, create the method as add student over here, right? Add student, right? So here I'm going to extend this one, implement this interface to here. So the IMP. So out implementation, you have to write implementation implements. There's a keyword implements. You have to write student student service. That's it. This class we have to put the annotation is service. It's the annotation. Right. Now here we have required one method, implement method. Click OK. The method is implemented. Now here first what I'm going to do is you have to write. Right. I will be explaining it. Don't worry. Right. This method I'm going to write here. Right. Okay. What is the data coming from the front end? It is passing to here. Okay. So this one you have to pass into this add here. This one passing to add student to student service. Student service that is the implementation only. Okay. This is the implementation only. This implementation is sending to the IMPL, retrieving the data, and here we get the data from the front end via the DTO. Data will be added into the database via the entity type, right? Entity type, we are adding the data, right? Entity type, right? Repo the part where it communicates the data to factory add the data into the database. So here we have the repo. We have to add the code repo as well, student repo. This is the interface. This is also student repo, right? Student repo. Got these things. Right. Okay, student repo. Right, the student. So that is student. That's the thing you right. Student repo. Implementation student extend change implementation, right? So here we have tried this one. Not is a class. I have mistakenly added. This is not a class. That's why it paid the error it generated. This is the interface. Student repo. This is not a class. This is interface. The implementation we have to write like this. Now here there's no error. You have to add this class. This class means this class. Okay. This is the repo. Okay. Here where the queries is staying. We have to insert into this. All things are doing here. Insert into what are the data is coming. All things are facing here. Right. This is the entity type. Entity it will be we adding the data through entity. So we have to write entity. You have to write entity. First you have to write the random number like this. New random number. You have to write the first number. Here this is the entity number. This number you have this student ID. You have to get it as a entity type. It's a number. Okay, random number. Next in we have set as 100 mean within 100 what are the numbers are there. It will be randomly. It will be randomly generated. Sometimes it generated 25. Sometimes it generated 85. Okay, it randomly generated when you add the data. Okay, when you insert the data, the student number will be randomly generated. Okay, so this is very secure. Okay, some other system they are generating the banking system like that. They are generating like this. This number is randomly generated. Right. A student save DTO, get the student name, student address, and mobile and active state, right? It's dealing with the student repo. Repo is the part where communicate with the database. Okay, so via the entity type. Okay, and get the data we are getting through the DTO, we are set as an entity. The entity which is dealing with the repo to add the data into the database. This is how the Spring Boot layer architecture. When the data is coming from the front end, okay, when the data is coming from front end, okay, it get the data from the DTO. DTO, the front end, we are sending the data through the DTO format. It's coming via the controller. Controller the part where it will be passing the data to service passing the data to the service IMPL retrieving the data. So it is as a DTO format. DTO format is a DTO format. It's as a DTO format, but DTO can't directly add the data through the database. Okay, so we have another layer we need. That layer we called as a student entity. Okay, that is student schema type. The schema, the database schema, right? Then it will be, we have created the object of student entity type object student. Okay, we have created the object. So after that, what you are going to do is we have this object, we have to be this all the data. Student data, we have get all the data. DTO data, we have to get all the data over here, what the data is coming. After that, we have to this all the data we have to put into this object, student object. Okay, this student object you have to put it here. If you want to save the data, it will dealing with the repo. Right. So repo we have to auto-add over here. Auto-add student private student repo. Right. Now let's check whether it's working fine or not. Now let's execute the program and check whether it's working fine or not. Right. Right. Now it's working. Now let's test it to the Postman. I'm going to open the another body. We have tried to test to the body row. These are the things to select as a JSON format. Okay, these are the things we have set in the front end here. Student ID, student name, address, and mobile and active. The same name you have tried it here. Okay, you have tried, right? Student ID we no need to write it randomly it will be generated. Okay, we no need to write. Okay, now let's post that. Post here, would write it here. What's the URL you have write? Right, what's the URL you have write? I already written. So just type it and only we have to change it. What's the URL? HTTP localhost. What's the port we are assigning here? Put it here port. What's the port it will be running? This port. This port where I gave here. This is the port where I gave, right? So this port I am going to go to the Postman and put it here. Okay, when the port is running 8065 API version 1 student. What's the request student save method? If you write save, click send button. Right here, this track code is simply it will be added into the database. Now I'm going to save another student. Ramu India. This is a mobile number. True. Click send button. Now let's back to my database and check it whether it's working fine or not. Right. So here, what is the database name here given? This is the database name. Yeah. I just copy this name. Right. Now go to your left hand side. There is a database configuration part here. Click on this. Click the pass symbol. Data source. Here you have to go to the MySQL. Here you have to have the username as root, password as root 123. Paste the database name over here. Click test the connection. The connection is success. Click apply. Okay. Now let's get the database is generating. Click on this. student columns, click on the student. Here you can see here student id, here it will be randomly, it will be generated. Here 75 first generated, after that 99 generated, right? If I am going to add another value, Kishan India, to click on this. Now here 91, student Kishan is 91 generated. If I am going to add another record, Satish, click on this. So 11, click on this. Now here, go here and double click on this. Here it will be randomly generated. Here 56 is Satish, 11 is 87. Okay, it is randomly generated, right? Okay, now you can put any number here. I put within 100. Okay, within 100 I have assigned here. If you want to, if I'm going to close it here, I'm going to this one 1000 whatever. Now like again I'm going to run the code. I generated 1000. Within 1000 we have to generate the values. Okay, if you are here, otherwise you can generate this is 3 digits. I am going to digits 5. It is good. So generate like this. Okay, it is good, right? If you are generate like this, so if you implement that right like this, now you can see this is more security purpose. You are implemented like this. Again run the code. Database also, all the things are created again. Now I'm going to go to the Postman. Aravind, click India. Right, now you go and check it. What happened now? Here student ID, here it taken this one. Okay, right? It is a automatically, it is randomly generated number. Okay, it's very secure purpose. We have to implement this one. I hope you guys understood things well. If you have any doubt, you can ask me. If you love my channel, please subscribe me, like me. Thank you for watching.